father was a flight engineer on the flight, and there have been so many mysteries about this flight that 20 years ago I started looking into it and found, well, the only way to find the truth was to find the German pilots who actually shot the plane down. After about 6 months I managed to get hold of one of them. He then gave me a lot of information, we corresponded. He then said, well, come and see me, and we went and I stayed with him for a week, and he explained it all to me, and he said that they would patrol the Bay of Biscay looking for crippled German submarines and bring them back into base in Bordeaux. Well, on this occasion, before that, their main worry was mosquitoes, which were the British very light planes that were made of wood, very light, but very fast, and they could outmaneuver a Junkers 88. So what the Germans devised a plan of flying. There were 6 planes, 4 would fly at 1,000 feet, and 2 would fly then at 2,000 feet and act as a pincer movement. But when they were on their patrol and they saw this the 2 spotter planes at the top saw this aircraft coming towards them, the 2 at the top dived straight down and attacked it. And by the time the others came up from underneath, they realized it was a passenger plane. They could see the lettering on the side, but by then it was too late. The plane was on fire and going down. It landed on the sea, it floated for about 4 minutes and then sunk. He saw 3 people jump out. He wasn't sure whether they had parachutes or what they had, but they were sort of clothing or something that had come out. But he said to me, we just shot it because we saw it coming toward. It was an accident. We had no intention of shooting it. If we'd known it was a passenger plane. We had no orders to go and shoot it down or anything at all. It was just unlucky. I then found out, by then I had a friend in Germany who found 2 other of the pilots. I corresponded with both of those. Neither knew that I'd been in touch with any of them, and they both said exactly the same story. And to me that's the end of it. There's no mystery involved. It was just an accident.
For you as a son, how was it to face those persons? Was it?
It was very hard because I never knew my father. I was born 2 months after he died. It may be a bit easier that way, but it was strange meeting somebody who knew what happened to your father and actually could describe the last minutes. When the Germans went into Holland, KLM came to England. They moved their aircraft here to Whitchurch, and that's where he met my mother in Bristol. And after he'd killed, my mother stayed on here, but he would have gone back to Holland as a family.
But your mother is also
She's
Dutch?
English. She's English. Yeah, she was an English girl.
And what description do you have of your father? Was he a happy man?
Yeah, he was cheerful. He was keen on sailing, on boating. Mostly while they were here, they were very busy most of the time, so they didn't have a lot of time for hobbies, but he did have a motorbike and sidecar and managed to get free petrol for it, and they used to go off down to the coast.
Did your mother ever told you about any stories about him in Portugal? What did he bring back?
Yes, they used to bring lots of fruit, meat, which you couldn't buy in this country. They used to smuggle it in, hide it behind the linings, and then go back the next day when they were servicing the plane and take it out and bring it home. 2 of the flight engineers had been caught smuggling food back, and they were taken off the line and sent back to Holland at the end of the war in disgrace. But other than that, everybody, I think, was on quietly bringing food and things back from Portugal.
So Portugal was a kind of harbour.
Harbour, yes. Freedom. They enjoyed going to Estoril, going to the beaches there on their days off.
Well, a few minutes ago you were talking that they saw 3 persons getting out of the plane. Yeah. Was it already when it was on the water, or
while it was coming down? When after they'd shot at it, it then went in a huge big circle. At that point, it was about 500 feet from the water. They saw the German pilot said he saw 3 people jumping out of the plane. It then just landed on the water and floated for about 4 minutes and then sunk. They cruised around looking for any survivors and saw none. The next day, the British sent out a Sunderland flying boat to look for the area, and Hinz was involved in that battle again that day, and one of their planes was lost in that fight.
German.
One of the German planes who had also been out the day before and shot the IBIS down.